Echidna walked alongside Mitra in her scale-skinned rumen form. She had become accustomed to walking around like this and no longer found discomfort in it after changing from her snake form, a form she was in for many centuries. They were on their way to the main hall of Tana where the goddess Nemea and her people often held meetings, and spoke of the future of the Outer Lands. Echidna had been there many times, but this was the first time Mitra had ventured out of Echidna's city, Vipera. I know I have been tasked with ruling Vipera and helping rule Tana, but I didn't realize just how beautiful the rest of the Outer Lands were. When you and Goddess Nemea return, do you think it would be possible to go out and see more of this beautiful land you have blessed us with? Echidna nodded. Take care of Vipera and Tana in our absence, and I am sure it can be arranged. Though your rule in Vipera is important, and it might be difficult to take you away from it, perhaps I can take back over and Nemea can show you around. This whole situation was a lot for Mitra to take in, and despite their rocky beginnings, it had made Mitra and Echidna closer than ever before. He always respected the snake goddess, and though the concerns of the scaleskins often fell on his shoulders, he understood now more than ever why the Rumans both in the Outer Lands and back on Skyla adored her so much. I would love that, he finally replied. The main hall of Tana was surrounded by many different steps leading up to the large building. The Rumans of Tana were also very fond of Echidna, and upon their arrival the Rumans gathered around her. Nemea's creations, the Leogata, were part lion and part Rumen. They weren't naturally as large as the scaleskin Rumans, but a large group of them gathered around you would still be intimidating. However, the respect for both Echidna and Nemea had no bounds. Therefore the Leogata gathered, but did not crowd them to the point that they couldn't walk normally or comfortably, something Mitra was grateful for. Get used to this, Echidna said. Make Nemea and I proud, and the Rumans of both Vipera and Tana will treat you with the same respect. Mitra found that statement hard to believe, but with each passing moment he was buying more and more into what Echidna and Nemea were selling. The Outer Lands were a chance for the two goddesses to start fresh, and if Mitra played his cards right, then he would not only reap the benefits, but would also go down in the history of Ruma as being part of the future of the planet. His thoughts were interrupted by the sight of Nemea. She took on a Leogata form that was much larger than the others to differentiate herself from her people, so it was easy to notice her from afar. Standing beside her was another Leogata, the prettiest that Mitra had ever seen. Nemea walked forward to greet them. Welcome! Echidna has been here many times before, but Mitra, I know this is your first time in Tana. What do you think? It is beautiful, Mitra said with a smile, though his eyes were focused more on the other Leogata as he spoke the words. Nemea looked behind her with a smile of her own. Yes, she is, isn't she? Come, let me introduce you to your future wife. Despite what Mitra was seeing, those words were still a lot to digest. He had no interest in getting married anytime soon, and not to a Rumen that wasn't a scaleskin. Not that he had anything against the Leogata, he just hadn't interacted with them much before. As they got closer to the Leogata in question, Mitra's concerns continued to vanish. This Leogata was as pretty as he could tell from afar, but also presented herself as a warrior, when Mitra was expecting a politician or a normal citizen. In Vipera, Mitra was less of a hunter and more of a builder. He filled many roles, but combat was rarely one of them. Not that there was much conflict on the Outer Lands with Echidna and Nemea's constant supervision, but everyone still had their roles to play. He expected the Leogata they matched him with to fill similar roles in Tana, but that did not seem to be the case. Mitra, I would like you to meet Cura, said Nemea. She is the chief priestess of Tana, and its soon-to-be ruler as voted upon by the Leogata. It is an honor, Mitra responded with a bow. Cura returned the gesture. The honor is mine, she said. Goddess Nemea tells me the Scaleskin respect and trust your decisions, and that you represent them in meetings. Mitra looked at Echidna briefly before turning his focus back to his future wife. I have been known to speak for the Scaleskin, yes, though it often gets me in trouble. Luckily for Mitra, Echidna laughed at the obvious joke. Standing up to us goddesses takes a lot of guts. It was an easy choice as to who we would choose to lead Vipera, as it was an easy choice for us to choose someone for Tana as well. The yellowish, lion-like skin of the Leogata made it easy to tell that Cura was blushing. I feel as if I'm not worthy of such praise from you or your sister. Ah, but that is why you are so deserving of it, added Nemea. You two are the best candidates for this job. We'll make it easy for Echidna and I to go build the rest of the Outer Lands. Keeping these two cities under control in our absence won't be easy, but what comes after our return may be even harder than that. What will come next? Asked Mitra. He looked at Cura to see if there was concern on her face as well, but she just seemed focused on what the goddesses had to say in response. The expansion of the Outer Lands will include new cities, new landscapes, and new civilizations such as this one, said Namiya. Possibly new Rumans, new races, and new cultures. In order to keep the Outer Lands peaceful and prevent it from falling into the same chaos that plagued Skyla, we will need strong leaders in place in all of the Outer Lands, not just here. Which makes you two setting a good example for the future of the Outer Lands so important, added Echidna. It is a lot of pressure for such young new rulers, not to mention the first rulers of Vipera and Tana. We will prepare you as best as we can, and have warned you of the shortcomings of Skyla. You must not let us down. Some concern finally appeared on Cura's face, but it seemed like only Mitra noticed. He moved closer to her and held her hand. The gesture brought a smile to both goddesses' faces, as well as Cura's. He lifted their unified hands up to Echidna and Namiya. Don't worry. We won't.